All right, fellas, welcome back. Today we're recording on Monday, getting a little quick view or a quick rundown of week 7, everything that went on. It's currently Monday night, so we just finished up the Monday night football game. I think first thing we're going to get into is some notable injuries. So I got marked down here is we got Andy Dalton, got a concussion, we got Chris Carson who's week to week, Kenyon Drake out for a few weeks with a high ankle sprain, or what they're viewing it as of now. We got Jeff Wilson with a high ankle sprain who's headed to the IR. We got OBJ who has a season-ending injury. Finally, we got Devo Samuel with a hamstring who's out for a few weeks. So I guess we'll start with Andy Dalton. He's only got a concussion, so he might even be back next week. It was a pretty brutal hit that he took. But how do we think this views or affects the rest of the Cowboys offense?
It affects it zilch.
0?
You put anyone back there, they're going to look like Andy Dalton, unless it's Dak.
Yeah.
Prayers up to him.
I think I've got a similar opinion as that. What about you guys? What do you think? Logan, Jacob?
I mean, I think in a sense, Bobby hit it on the nose with the fact that unless it's Dak Prescott, anyone else back there is not going to look very good. But at least Andy Dalton is serviceable, and we kind of know what we're getting from him. I mean, if they put anyone else back there like that Ben DiNucci guy, the rookie that came in after Dalton went out, it just could get really ugly. And what's probably most important and what's really unfortunate is that there's a lot of fantasy relevant aspects of that offense, starting with Zeke and obviously Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and even Dalton Schultz, is a decent tight end option. So it just stinks to see that offense just not looking very reliable.
Totally. Zeke fumbled twice or something. I think he has 5 fumbles on the year already, which is kind of horrendous, especially when he's your first-round pick.
You trade for him?
Or you trade for him, right? Over the trade genie.
The trade. Hey, full disclaimer: I traded for him when Dak was still there. So,
yeah,
full disclosure.
Very unfortunate. So I guess that whole offense just kind of takes maybe not a big hit, but there's just more misery over in Dallas. So I guess start your players with a grain of salt from here on out. You and Zeke. I mean, he's still going to get his carries, but he has been struggling immensely so far. All right, I guess we'll move on to Chris Carson. He's week to week. We're not sure how long he'll be out as of now. I guess this the question: who's going to be the backup? I guess Carlos Hyde is the front runner. I think we should keep an eye out for Penny, though. I think he might be eligible to be activated off the PUP list. That's not something I've researched heavily, but I think it's just something to keep an eye out for with Chris Carson's absence, if it's longer than like a week. What do you guys think?
Rip to my guy Carson. My RB1 plus 2 gone.
I don't think it's too big of a concern. Most people probably have Carlos Hyde picked up if they have Chris Carson knowing his injury history.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's on you.
I do.
Most people would.
Yeah, because someone in this league picks up every running back available.
No, he picked him up this week.
Team.
That's on you. You should have had him weeks ago, not when he gets injured.
One backup running back didn't have.
Yeah, okay, well, that's on you, buddy.
Jacob, care to speak on the backup running back ordeal? What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, I hear where you're coming from because it's kind of a silly strategy, but I mean, Kareem Hunt, or we saw Nick Chubb go down, and now Kareem Hunt is a star. We saw Dalvin Cook go down, and Alexander Madison was very disappointing, but process over results. And now we're seeing Chris Carson and Carlos. I mean, it's just running back is the position that gets injured the most. And I just think if you can have a quality team and have a couple backup flyers on your bench, I think it can help you out. I mean, we saw Kenyon Drake just last night. I mean, both the starting running backs in that game, Carson and Kenyon Drake, both went down. If you have Carlos Hyde or Chase Edmonds, you're looking pretty good right now. So Hate on it all you want.
Yeah, I guess
Smart strategy. Smart.
that's what.
I just think it brings bad karma to have bench players that you're hoping for other people's starters get hurt. I'm just saying.
Who's OBJ's
It's
backup?
not
I should
hope.
probably pick him
I
up.
don't think it's hope at all. I think it's just preparedness.
Being realistic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
especially in the RB category. I mean, they're the most susceptible to getting hurt out of all the positions.
Shady, that's all I'm saying.
I think it's a pretty well-renowned strategy. Anyways, I guess
Maybe
we'll
one or
move on.
two, but 5.
Move on to Drake, another injured RB.
Yeah, we'll move on to Drake. Apparently he's out for a few weeks. Knowing Kenyon Drake, who knows if he'll even make it back on the field this year of how bad he's been playing, besides his one game against the Cowboys. So, I mean, Chase Edmonds, is he going to be released? Is he going to feast? I mean, I think he definitely has a good chance of putting up double-digit PPR, half PPR points per week in Drake's absence. What do you guys think?
I think he's the new number 1 in Arizona. I mean, Drake was only there because of the success he had last year. I mean, but every time Edmonds has been on the field, he's looked like a better running back than Drake.
Yeah,
besides that
honestly.
one performance in Dallas. When can you say that Drake's actually looked like himself?
Drake just looks terrible. He looks slow and clunky, and he doesn't hit holes.
He looks like Adam Gase version.
Edmonds is
Exactly.
definitely looking better so far.
He looks like
Yeah.
Kalen Balaj. You don't want that guy.
It's definitely been rough out there for Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's interesting is that, like, as a fantasy community, we've been wanting Chase Edmonds to be freed, and we kind of thought that he might just eventually take over based on his good play. But now I'm thinking that from the Cardinals coaching staff perspective, yeah, it sucks that Drake got hurt, but now you have a reason to actually showcase the guy that could potentially be better.
Looks better.
But one thing I will note about the Cardinals that's interesting is that they do have a bye this coming week. So it's hard to get crazy excited about Edmonds just because you're not going to be able to use him next week. So if Drake is out for a while, though, that's great, but just prepare to not have Edmonds this week at least.
Whoa.
We gonna talk about the trade genie losing a trade?
We'll
trade
get into
genie-
that. We'll get into that.
I don't lose trades.
Let's
I'm
just
fully
finish these.
pledged to defend myself.
I don't know about that one.
I don't lose trades. Okay, I can't predict OBJ snapping his ankle or whatever, or his ACL in half. That's not on me. Will I still make that trade if I could go back in time? Yes, 10 out of 10 times.
All right. Speaking of OBJ, I guess we'll hop right into that. How do you think this affects the Cleveland offense over there? What do you guys think?
I saw that they are one of the people interested in Marvin Jones.
Really? Think they're gonna make an mid-season trade? And isn't this week like the week where a bunch of things are supposed to happen?
Yeah, because
The deadline?
The deadline's, I think it's next week or whatever, but because it takes a week for them to play or something,
COVID
or a week to pass
regulations and
protocols.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that a lot of the deals apparently are supposed to happen this week.
I think Chubb and Kareem Hunt are about to go crazy, especially with the loss of OBJ. They're going to be hammering them for the next however long, especially until Chubb gets back. Imagine when Chubb and Kareem Hunt are both back in that backfield, they could rush them 15 times a piece if they wanted, even more. I think they're about the biggest
Keep them
boost.
both fresh during the game.
I think they get the biggest boost because, I mean, their best playmakers are now both running backs.
Hooper might get a big boost too.
Yeah. Jarvis potentially. I'm not really too high on him, but
that one guy, Peoples Jones. I mean,
he's
he
good.
might be someone to keep an eye on. He had that game-winning touchdown. I think it was three catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but
take a
someone
flyer
to
on
keep
him.
an eye on in Cleveland. I mean, you can't really rely on Baker Mayfield whatsoever, but just keep him in the back of your mind, I guess, if you're really desperate for wide receivers. All right. Next, we got Jeff Wilson. He's got a high ankle sprain, and he's headed to the IR. Many people expected Jerick McKinnon to feast in this game against New England. but he got, I think, 3 carries, and Jeff Wilson had like 3 touchdowns. So
Oh,
I'm
God.
not quite sure what happened there. But then, of course, Jeff Wilson has to get injured, and now he's out. So where do we go from here?
Do you mean
Michael Hasty the guy to own? Is it McKinnon?
I don't think it's anyone because, I mean, even if what's his name, Wilson didn't get hurt, it probably would have been McKinnon this week. And even though it's expected to be McKinnon again this week, it'd probably be Hasty or some practice squad member they pick up. Everyone feasts in that. Everyone feasts in that scheme by Shanahan. It's really amazing what he's capable of doing. I'd stay away from it personally.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard to trust.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in a sense, I agree with Bobby. In it's going to be hard to predict. But here's the thing: is that the 49ers, like, yes, it's going to be really hard to predict. But of all the teams that you would want a running back from, in terms of a team system, like the 49ers running backs produce a lot of points. It's just the problem is, how do you predict which one it's going to be? So what's hard is that now you have Mostert on IR. They're going to put Wilson on IR. Tevin Coleman's already on IR. And so a backfield that was already hard to predict just got a little bit less hard to predict because they're just, on a numbers game perspective, there's just less people to choose from. So it's going to probably be split between McKinnon and Hasty. But I would keep an eye on Tevin Coleman too. He's supposed to return in the next few weeks here. See if he can make an impact because we know that's a guy that they trust.
Yeah, definitely a ambiguous backfield, and we're not quite sure what's going to happen each week.
I would stay away from them unless it's. I would stay away from them unless it's Mostert. Everyone else seems uncertain.
Good analysis, Logan.
Even Mostert seems a little uncertain. He's back.
I think he's by far the most trustable.
When he gets the ball, he's extremely efficient, no doubt. But his health, I guess, is the main factor that is in question. I guess to stick on the 49ers offense, Deebo Samuel also went down with a hamstring. We all know that can be a nagging injury and can keep people out. We see Julio, who struggles with it the last few weeks. I mean, what's that offense going to look like? Is Brandon Ayuk get a big bump? I think it was Bourne. Does he get a bump? I mean, is Kittle going to score 30 points per game now? I mean, who else is going to go? Who else is going to make plays on the offense? It's hard.
I mean, I think Brandon Ayuk's looked pretty damn good as a rookie.
Yeah,
I mean, they're giving him rushing. I was looking at a stat. There's only like 2 wide receivers that have like 2 rushing touchdowns or more, and one of them's Ayuk, and I forget who the other one is. I think it might be Claypool. But I mean, even that, he's catching all types of passes. They trust him already. I mean, Shanahan was raving about him during the draft, and I have him, so there's no real bias there. But I'm hoping he goes off. I think he will go off for like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had like 112 receiving yards last week, which is what I think is his career or the season high for him, if I'm not mistaken. So he's definitely got that upside factor for him. And with Deebo going out yet again, and he's had more experience under his belt this past week or this past season, I think he's definitely becoming more and more of a safer play each week. Anything you guys got on that? We're good to go.
Yeah, mine are stinky.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of the injuries and its implications. Trade Genie, did you want to discuss your trade, or should we just transition into some upcoming news and outcomes?
I still stand by the fact I've never lost a trade. Okay, you look through my history. No one trades like me.
I trade like you. I trade better than you.
No, you.
Can I ask one question?
We can move on.
We're moving on.
I'm going to acknowledge that.
All right. He's made a statement
for Matt Asiata and Jordan Howard. Rest my case.
Okay, but that wasn't for me. Okay, and trust me, I mean Antonio Brown and Christian McCaffrey for Jarvis Landry and Marlon Mack and some other scrub I got. Okay, so don't tell me about
Hunt, Carson, and Parker for T. Higgins and Eckler.
Okay. Trading with certain people in the league.
All right, you guys get it out of your system. Need to go.
Yeah. If I could touch on it just one more time, though.
All right.
No, I think I deserve a response for that.
I want to take back a statement I've made a lot regarding Tom Brady. He's really, really impressed me. What he's been able to do with the lack of weapons in Tampa Bay, truly astonishing. We should move on.
There's only one person more impressive than Brady with his lack of weapons is Mahomes with his lack of weapons.
Truly astonishing by both quarterbacks, nonetheless. All right, speaking of the Chiefs, let's talk about the timeshare that we can project coming from that backfield. Now that Bell is establishing himself over there, and Clyde, of course, still beasting it out, even though in the last game, Clyde only had 8 carries, 46 yards, 4 targets, 1 catch, and 17 yards. And then Bell, on the other hand, had 6 carries for 39 yards, but no targets. So it's pretty even in terms of the carries category over there. But, of course, the receiving work, Bell didn't receive any. But, I mean, is this going to be more of a 50-50 thing? I mean, it's hard to look at with these numbers. I mean, it looks very even for that backfield. And that was,
I think,
Bell off of, like, a couple days learning the backfield.
I think you're going to have to see them play a couple more games first.
You need a bigger sample size?
Yeah,
Bell's still learning the team and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, but I was looking at a stat like Bell and Clyde going through 3 quarters before like the starters were pulled against Denver. They were like pretty even in terms of like snaps. That's not good, especially when it's Bell's first game there. If you're a Clyde owner, you can't be happy with that.
That's what I'm saying.
Half and half in their first game.
Essentially, it's his first game back.
Not good.
A couple days, if not a week, to learn the playbook, and he's already in there getting 6 for 39. I mean, it's a good, efficient yards per carry. So I think you're really going to want to avoid these 2 guys going forward, just because of how like multidimensional that offense is and how many playmakers they need to feed. So I think the guy to own on that team, honestly, is going to be just Pat Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, Hill's been good this year, but it's going to be hard. There's too many mouths over there.
Just want the big guys in Kansas City.
If I could touch on the running backs really quick, I just wanted to bring up, I watched a lot of this game because I was playing against Mahomes this week, and Bell looked good. It's weird because they're very different players.
Can't hear you, Jacob.
That Bell didn't have any targets, and Clyde had 4. But I will say one thing: when I was watching this game, yard line.
Jacob,
having mic issues, man.
Having some technical difficulties.
Please,
you're moving your laptop, and it's like we can't.
Please hold.
You good now?
Yeah. Just keep it like that.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So
no worries.
I remember watching, and I think they were like 3rd and goal or something like that, or about the 10-yard line or so. And Mahomes was scrambling, and he tried to find Clyde down the sideline in the end zone. And he dropped it bad. Like it was a bad drop, and you can see Mahomes was kind of frustrated. And I think initially when Bell signed, I thought that you'd have Clyde for a good couple weeks. But then I looked at their schedule, and the Chiefs have the Jets and the Panthers the next 2 weeks. So what's interesting about that is that the Jets, obviously that's Bell's former team. You can't tell me when the Chiefs, start killing them that they're not going to give Bell a couple goal line carries.
They're going to feed him.
And then same thing with the Panthers. Like, what 2 better games to get your new player involved and get him going and get him in the end zone? So I don't know. I'm concerned about Clyde short term and long term.
Yeah, it's definitely a daunting situation in that backfield over there. But I do like that point about Bell playing the Jets this week. I think he could definitely go off. just for a revenge game. All right, this might be a sensitive topic for a couple people in this call. I guess we're gonna have to talk about Cam Newton and the Patriots quarterback woes. We'll let Logan take it away, I guess, before Bobby fires back.
I have nothing to say. They suck.
Cam has the yips.
He has the yips.
What do you expect from Cam? Never a really efficient passer, not a super talented passer, goes into a system that doesn't have many weapons, period. Tom Brady struggled with it, and you expect him to be good? No. I just never saw it happening from the beginning. Yeah, he looked good when he was rushing, but it's when teams started clamping down on that, who's he going to throw to? Nikhil?
He's not even doing that anymore.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that defenses have to focus on.
There's wide receivers getting open. Nikhil's getting open. Edelman, not so much. Jameer Bird's looking good. It's just the problem is he's not seeing him. I don't know what he's doing. But Jarrett Stidham or Jarrett Midham is not a good freaking answer either. I'll tell you that.
No, he's not the face of the franchise.
He has 20 passes and 5 are interceptions.
That's not good. Not good at all.
I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed in the coaching staff in New England. I think that they need to adjust, and they have not done that in the last couple games. And it just, I mean, if things aren't working with Cam, then they need to make changes, because, and whether that's shorter routes or simpler passes or running the ball more, just you can't keep doing the same thing. And clearly the arm strength is not there anymore, or there's some processing issue. But I think this upcoming week is going to be really important against the Bills, because talking about a Bills team that has been really kind of unimpressive the last few weeks. And so if New England gets beat again by them, it's really concerning, considering that would put New England at 2-5 and Buffalo at 5-2.
Think for Trevor, baby. Or Justin Fields, I guess.
I was going to say Justin Fields. I thought he was your guy.
But, there's things open that Cam's just not seeing in the shorter areas. And, I don't know, running backs, tight ends in the flat. There's just things he's not willing to settle for. And it's making it a lot tougher. And it's a lot of his throwing mechanics. They've looked a lot worse since he's come back from COVID. And I have no idea if this is a real thing or anything. But I saw some, Twitter blue check mark. So you never know if they're legit or not. Anyone can get one of those, I guess. But they were saying there was a thing called COVID brain where it slows down your thinking. I don't know. But yeah, it was crazy. So I mean, I hope it's nothing like that. I hope it's just no practice and he can get back to normal, because it looks terrible.
Alrighty.
And the trade genie will be back.
The trade genie is taking a temporary leave of absence. He will be back shortly. All right. Never mind. So I guess we'll move on to the Steelers. So an interesting thing that I noticed was that Deontay Johnson was officially a bike, and he had a 30% target share this week. 15 targets, went 9 for 60 and 2 touchdowns. And on the opposite side of the field, Claypool went for 1 target, 1 catch, and -2 yards. So I guess, what do we think of that? I mean, Deontay Johnson clearly is commanding a very large percentage of target share. In the first 2 weeks, he had a 32% target share when he was healthy. In the second week, he had a 31.6% target share when he was healthy. So, and Claypool didn't do anything in those 2 games, clearly. Nothing of substance, at least. So, I mean, I guess Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver to own other than Juju. What do we think?
Yeah, he's probably the wide receiver to own besides Juju, but I don't know. they're all still kind of sketchy. It all seems like 1 week it's the other guy. Juju's probably the most safe bet, but I mean, it just seems like it's going to someone new every week. So, but besides Juju, I guess Deontay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting because when Deontay was fully healthy, he's getting double-digit targets every game, and he not went off, but he had double-digit fantasy points in week 1, 2, and now it was week 7. So I think Claypool is really dependent on Deontay not playing, and Deontay did get a minor injury. It was an ankle bruise, I think. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. So if Deontay, I guess if from here on out, if Deontay doesn't play, you're going to start Claypool. If Deontay is playing, you're not going to start Claypool unless we see anything different. So what do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, Luke, I agree that that's probably the most simple way to put it is I think in order to have any confidence starting these guys, someone needs to be out
Yeah.
for at least a game or two. But I think Deontay is really difficult because, like, you're talking about a guy where it's like he's on the field and he's producing, but like, when was the last time that guy finished a game, man? I mean, it seems like every
Yeah.
single time he plays, he gets hurt, and let alone this week he gets hurt, and like I don't think he's in jeopardy of missing next week, but it's like it's really hard to roll out a guy who should be good, but also might get hurt mid-game and just disappear. Oh, and by the way, the quarterback, throws it to Deontay, Juju, James Washington, Claypool, Ebron, and the running backs. And it's working. That's the problem, is that it's working. So it's like they're 6-0. It's just really hard to predict.
They have not played very many good teams.
They beat the
Steelers are legit.
Titans
I know you
last
hate
week.
the Steelers, but
Their defense is
They're
legit. I mean, I'm not saying they're a bad team. It's just 6-0. That's a lot from the opponents. Titans, their first real game they played, and I mean, it came down to the wire. So obviously they're a good team, but just calm down a little bit on the Steelers hype train, in my opinion. They are very good, though.
Some contradicting statements.
No, because they can be good and they don't play anybody. People say the Patriots have the easiest schedule in the league every year, but still be winning Super Bowls.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the Panthers backfield. We got C-Mac back to practice this week. Although they do have a short week, they got Thursday Night Football against the Falcons. What do you guys think? Is he playing? Is he bike? Is it still the Mike Davis show?
Definitely.
Mike Davis better have a good game this week if he wants to stay involved.
Yeah, he does. However,
Mike Davis seems like a good guy, but I couldn't be rooting harder for anyone to fail more in my life than Mike Davis this week for CMC to come back.
I actually think he might be better than CMC. I think they should probably trade CMC.
I did see an interesting tweet from either their head coach or their offensive coordinator. I forget. I sent it to you guys. You guys know. They said they might want to see
Matt Rule. Yeah.
Rule. Okay, yeah. They might want to see more of a committee style backfield once C-Mac gets back. That's his words, not mine. What do we think the likelihood of this happening? And the committee is including Curtis Samuel, who had a rushing touchdown last week instead of Mike Davis, which made me very sad.
I also want it to be known that Bobby's team being a little bit of a super team, if CMC comes back, has absolutely nothing to do with my take about Mike Davis being better.
My team ain't super anything. My team sucks now. Evans is booty. Zeke is booty. My team is in shambles. I need CMC to come back. I need it. And I don't want to hear no Curtis Samuel. It's Curtis Samuel. If he takes touches away from CMC, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, this dude sucks. He couldn't make it as a wide receiver. Now he's going to take touches away from CMC. Give me a break. Give me a break.
It also has nothing to do with the fact that I traded him CMC.
All right.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel's not very good. And I'm not really sure if Mike Davis is either. I really don't know. I mean, he's had plenty of opportunity. But
I mean, he crushed it those first 4 weeks when he was in. He was averaging like almost 8 receptions a game, and then these past 2 weeks he's just been terrible. And
Yeah,
you get decent matchups.
I think that realistically, to start, it's probably going to be more of a timeshare than we'd like. But I think
that ain't no problem.
The next few weeks,
if
CMC is back, I find it really hard to believe that they're paying a guy that much money to split with some rando Mike Davis. It just doesn't seem very likely.
Rando, that's a little disrespectful. And that guy's been going off.
Yeah, I know.
No one knew who he
how
was.
old is he? How long
maybe a
in the
Seahawks
NFL?
fan, so.
No one knew who Travis Fulgham was.
Okay, well, unrelated.
Not at all. Both unknowns, both start balling out. These are some real players.
All right. Jacob, you want to touch on DJ Chark? Want to spare me from talking about my player?
Yeah, Luke, I didn't mean to put this in the show doc, like to kind of slide you, because I did trade him to you, but here's the thing, is that there was a lot of morning games and there was only a couple of afternoon games, and the Bucs blew out the Raiders, and I forget the other one, but the only kind of game was the Jags and Chargers. So I ended up watching more than that than probably my brain would have wanted me to. But I'm not really sure what's happening with DJ Chark. I mean, Minshew is not looking great. He caught one pass on 7 targets, and most importantly, like I said, I watched this game. Every time that Minshew threw him the ball and he didn't catch it, he's shaking his head and throwing his hands up and all frustrated that he didn't that either it wasn't a good throw, or that he didn't catch it, or it got knocked down, or whatever. It's just not like a good vibe there. And I don't know if there's behind the scenes stuff, but it's just weird because they seem to have a good, kind of connection last year. So the fact that this year they're so out of sync is really odd.
Yeah, it's definitely really frustrating considering Chuck has had 21 targets combined over the past 2 weeks. That's 14, and then seven this week, of course.
Yeah.
And he's had, I think he had 6 catches last week, so that's 7 catches.
7.
That's
7 last week and 1
a
this week.
33% catch rate. It's just not good at all. And I mean, some of it can definitely be attributed to Gardner Minshew. He definitely hasn't been as he was last year. It's been very underwhelming. But at some point, it's just like, is Chark untrustable now? I mean, I have no confidence starting him anymore, which sucks. But I mean, he still has that upside and that playmaking ability to go off for a couple touchdowns. But my confidence in him is diminishing by the day, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is.
Possible wide receiver on the move?
You think?
I don't know. Jacob's talking about how he looks unhappy. I don't know.
That'd be great. I would love that. Get him to
New England.
Get him to Green Bay, man. Oh my.
Yeah, Luke, that's a good call. But
I'm sorry,
I don't.
I'm sorry. Continue.
I was just gonna say, I think it's more likely that they bench Minshew than they go with.
Dude, Mike Glennon, like, come on.
Did you just suggest giving DJ Chark to Cam Newton? Like, that'd be actually good for him? We're supposed to upgrade if you're going to trade him away, not downgrade him. He's probably the only quarterback in the league that you probably downgrade with. And you're going to try to give it to him.
Only quarterback.
Oh, Allen would be a better quarterback for him at this point than Cam Newton. Cam Newton cannot throw the ball. He can't do it physically.
He's got COVID brain, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That was COVID.
Serious thing, not funny.
Guess so. All right. Jiggy, you want to speak on that Bills backfield?
Oh, why?
Do I have to?
Well,
No, I'm just kidding. But I might throw up a little bit mid-sentence. Okay, so I try not to watch a lot of Bills football because it's really gross. But Last
first
week.
few weeks were good.
Yeah,
Since then, no.
for the passing game. For the rushing game, it's been not great.
Yeah,
so last week, we had Zach Moss, 7 carries for 47 yards. Devin Singletary, 8 carries for 29. So on the ground, Moss is more efficient. Moss had 3 catches for 25 yards through the air, while Singletary had 2 catches for 18 yards. So Singletary a little bit more efficient through the air, but obviously Moss had more catches. I don't really know what to do here because it's
very interesting.
Yeah,
it might be the worst backfield in the entire league.
There's just no clarity in the I don't see how you can
skill either.
How can you confidently roll out Devin Singletary from what you've seen this year, and then you throw on top of the fact on top of all this, you have Josh Allen, probably the leading rusher every week, and also the most likely guy to score a rushing touchdown. So it's like I don't even know who would you want to own from that? Are you targeting Zach Moss? Are you trying to get away from Singletary, or is it just avoid completely?
Avoid completely.
I'm running away from the Bills as fast as I can. They look terrible.
Hopefully there's a car next to you that you can get in to drive quicker.
Against the Jets, they were struggling.
Yeah, they didn't score a touchdown against the Jets. They had all field goals for 18.
I'm selling high as a trade genie. I'm telling you to sell high on your Bills players. But I mean, Stephon Diggs is probably worth at least your top wide receiver. No bias there. If someone was looking to trade him in your guys' leagues, I'd definitely take him for your best player.
Oh, that's good.
So high on Diggs.
If I was anyone in their league, I probably would not do that.
Noted.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll get on to our final topic of this evening. We got Mike Evans. He has 2 catches for 37 yards on 2 targets last week, although he allegedly had a missed 50-yard touchdown that was it overthrown? Was there a penalty? What was that, Logan?
It was it was like a stop and go, I think, and on the go he held his jersey, so he hindered his running. So it probably would have been. It may have been something where he had to jump up to get it and fell down, but there is a good chance that he probably takes that to 45 to the house. So it seems like that happens every week where he has a huge play called back taken away because of PI or something like that.
Yeah, unfortunate. Regardless, we see time again Mike Evans immensely struggling when Godwin is on the field. And let us remind you that AB has signed with the Bucs, and he should be back and eligible to play by week 9, I believe. Not this week, but next. And that's eligible. So I'm sure he'll be able to play. I'm sure he'll get him out there for some snaps and to run some routes. But Evans is another guy that you're just losing more and more confidence in. Even though he's got that playmaking ability, it's still hard with that offense.
What I think is going on with Evans is that he's not fully healthy right now, and that they're not really throwing it to him as much because they don't want to put him in danger of getting hurt as much. Trying to let him just slowly get back to full health, and I think that's partly why they signed AB is so if they need Godwin, AB, Evans, any one of those guys is something that's nagging or an injury that's staying with them. They could just sit him for a week and clearly be fine with those talented receivers left. So, because they haven't been the healthiest wide receiver core this year.
Yeah, it's been interesting because I think this was the week that everyone was fading Scotty Miller, and then he goes off and gets a 50-yard awesome touchdown that I happened to have replicated today. It's just interesting.
It's true.
So,
one of the best catches I've ever seen.
It was a phenomenal sight.
F in the chat for Brock.
All right. Well, that wraps up what I've got down. Anything you guys have on top of your head you want to get off your chest?
I wanted to throw out there, if anyone would be interested, leave a comment down below, and subscribing to our football league. We play maybe like once every couple of weeks. Brock got mossed pretty hard today by Luke.
It's true.
We really recreated Scotty Miller. We do replays of the week. So Luke got mossed. Jordan was out there making catches. I looked like Tom Brady out there. It was looking pretty good. Just drop a comment down below.
Or if you want to see any footage of this, I mean, we could
record games
and highlight reels. I mean, who knows?
I mean that throw and catch today over Brock. I don't want to single anyone out, but Brock got mossed pretty hard. Not to single anyone out.
Brock, let's keep it PG, buddy.
Yeah, I think there's like a lamp in your left side of your picture, Bobby. That's like interesting. I don't know. It's a weird. Anyway, this guy right here is back. Let's just talk about that for a little bit. He's back. All right.
Okay, let's make this short and sweet so we're not on here too long.
He's just back.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy looks like the old Gronk a little bit. I mean, he's not fully the same speed, but he's looking good.
He's making some good touchdown catches, and he's getting the red zone targets. And
that's all you need.
Just more targets.
He's definitely becoming a startable tight end now.
Like, they don't need him to do everything how he used to, but what he's doing now is working perfectly, and they're blowing.
He's basically catching 4 balls a game, and if he gets a touchdown on one of those, that's a good start every week.
Nope.
That Bucs offense is exciting, man.
It is. It's like, what is it, 40-plus points in the last 2 games? 38,
45.
Yeah, 38. Yeah, they sure are excited. I mean, they're really making a run for the money now.
Brady's entering the MVP conversation. 18 touchdowns, 4 picks, 2 rushing touchdowns. Love it.
Good things coming out of Tampa Bay, and more support for the argument for Tom Brady and against Bill Belichick for anyone.
Bill, please get a new quarterback. It hurts.
What was that?
Please get a new quarterback, Bill.
Tom Brady is the most accomplished quarterback of all time.
And the greatest. Thank you.
Accomplished.
And greatest.
All righty. I think we're going to wrap things up there. If anyone cares to comment and give us any ideas of what you guys want us to talk about or any other ideas we should do. Maybe
Also,
some sit starts or anything.
Leave some comments for the trade genie if you have any questions about some trades you should make or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll put our Twitter @ in the bio or in the description again. You guys can follow us and ask us any questions you'd like.
And any start sits too. Yeah, for sure. We don't have too many questions so far. And any start sits, we're going to be back on Friday. So if you guys have any questions about, lineup decisions, ad drops, that type of stuff, go ahead and throw it in the comments and we'll make sure to get to it on Friday.
All right.
We will.
Peace out. Let's go Pats. Tom Brady forever.
All righty.
Aaron Rodgers, greatest quarterback of all time. Peace out.
At winning one